Detective Season 3, Episode 4, The Hour and the Day. It all ends in a Claymore mine shooting out the front door. Let's get in it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, everybody, to True Detective AfterBuzz After Show. I'm Joe SanFelippo. It's so nice to be here with you guys. I'm here, as always, with the lovely Julia Cearley.
Hello, gentlemen. Hi, everybody.
And Mr. Nate Miller.
What's going on, guys? Nice to be back.
Ben Bateman is not able to be here with us today because he's doing very, very important things that involve airplanes, right?
Sure.
Indeed.
Yes.
And being dressed in
suits.
nice suits.
Yes.
Yes.
With a neckerchief, a handkerchief.
I think he
It's
sleeps in a
important.
suit.
It's probably a really comfortable suit.
Yeah.
Must be.
Probably like a satin suit.
Oh.
Like a double-breasted satin number.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We miss you, man.
All right. Well, we got some T-Bone Burnett to get us started. Before we get into anything else, impressions. What did you guys think of this episode, Julia Cearley?
This was heavy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, episode 1, I was totally in, right? Of course, because it was phenomenal. Episode 2 and 3, I was like, okay, we're slowly unpacking. I'm sort of getting a feel of how these timelines shift. But this was so solid and so fascinating and really a haunting episode.
Yes.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm like giddy. Look at me. I'm ridiculous. Look at my cheeks.
I
I'm
love
giddy
it.
about this.
Mr. Miller, what did you think?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, I agree. We've been getting a lot of exposition in the last few episodes. This one was a lot of big plot points and stuff was revealed to us. But also, again, like as much as they answered a few questions, they teased a lot more things too. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it looked really well too. Like the cinematography in this episode, especially. I think there's a lot of really great frames. Composition-wise.
I agree with that, absolutely. And this was the one written by Nick Pizzolatto and David Milch, and it was directed by Nick Pizzolatto. So, there were scenes that they really, they took their time. It went on for days, and there was no rush, and you didn't get bored, and you were unpacking. I enjoyed the pace of this way more than I thought I would, and I was telling you guys after, I was like, I'm so in. I'm so in now.
This felt like a movie. This
Yeah.
episode, it just
Loving
felt
it.
like a film.
And now
Looked
we're
like it, sounded like it.
It was so well done. And then now we're in that great spot, like Nate said, where we've unpacked. We've unpacked all the stuff. So we've got all the exposition taken care of, and now we can really get into it.
I doubt that's true.
No, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Oh,
There's
so
probably a lot
naive.
more. You naive little man. All right. We're gonna hit this by timeline. Does that sound right?
I think that's the only way.
That's the only way, because we got 3 timelines. So we're gonna start in the 80s. We start out in the church with Priest Creepy, Father Barry Von Creepy, and what did you guys think of that first? He's intentionally creepy, right? He's cast, and am I crazed?
I don't know if he's intentionally creepy.
I don't think any more creepy than an old than that kind of Catholic priest trope in a missing.
In a
children
missing
case.
Yeah,
murdered
I
kids
feel
killer.
like we are geared
might be
to
projecting a little bit,
automatically
yeah.
suspect him.
So you're saying I'm projecting? Yes,
Well,
I'm projecting
they
the
could
creepy
have.
priest on
He
the priest.
could have probably played it a little more. But I don't know if that would have fit. Tonally,
Yeah, it would not have fit
right?
tone-wise.
Everybody's a suspect, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, and he is standing there in front of a bunch of kids, and he's the one who says, "I took all the kids' communion pictures," and we know that this was Will was posed after his communion. So yeah, of course we are led to believe he's creepy, but I think that's as far as that's gonna go.
yeah, he seemed to be very willing to help them too. So
Yeah, and he invited them into
Yeah.
the church and all that. Although at the end of that congregation that following Sunday, though, he's given that whole lecture. His whole homily was about how justice is not ours to give. However, having said that, please be nice to the
Would you
detective.
mind lining up for some
Yeah,
fingerprints?
right? That was a
Of your
weird-
own volition?
pick.
That's cool, right?
That was an interesting choice of there's a whole lot of scripture in the Bible, and they picked the one lines like, by the way, justice and the police can't really do that. But having said that,
He did provide some good leads. He led us to, what was her name? Patty Faber, who made
Yes.
those dolls.
Patty
he led
Faber.
us to the notion of Julie's aunt. What the heck is that? You know?
yeah,
so,
who's Julie's? We don't know
Don't
yet.
know yet.
We know that Patty Faber is a dear good woman,
A dear good woman.
as I recall. And
I wish to be described as a dear good woman someday.
making creepy little dolls. So we go visit Patty Haber, like you said, and then Patty Haber turns us over to Deadeye Whitehead, right? We've got, I know that those are my notes. That's terrible.
Sam
Whitehead
with
who
the
is-
dead eye.
with the dead eye. And then we get, I think, a very, very charged and really interesting scene. What'd you guys think of that whole thing when they got over to, was it I don't remember the name of the little town. It's a different little spot. Oh, Davis Junction, right?
Oh, where Sam Whitehead lived?
Yes.
That was a pretty intense scene. I don't know, what do you think?
Other side of the tracks.
I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was really well done. It was, again, it's nice to see that dynamic of Hayes and Roland together and how they have a good partnership, but they are different people and they have different experiences. And especially in that scenario, like, Hayes is going to see it differently than Roland does. And I think, obviously, as we see in their discussion in the car, like, a little bit of him was wondering, like, what did he really want? Was he going to shoot one of them? You're like, did you really feel threatened? And what does that mean? And that's, I just really liked how that scene played out, because I didn't know what was going to happen, especially with this show. It could have gone anyway, but to see it play out that way with that really tense emotional stuff, and then them get in the car and decompress and have that conversation of Roland saying, like, actually, I probably would have done something stupider if it were white men, because I would feel more comfortable doing that because I'm concerned about how people would see me, which is a whole nother conversation of itself. But it really speaks to the relationship that the two of them have and, like, how they kind of understand each other. And I really do think that Roland respects Hayes.
Oh, tremendously.
But I also am wary to trust Roland, because I feel like Roland is going to look out for himself, is what I think.
You think?
But we'll see.
I thought it was interesting, a fascinating thing to see the sort of race tables that we've seen Hayes experience a lot in this specific
Right.
climate and this specific location. To see those tables turn a little bit and have Roland feel like the outsider, like Hayes sort of alludes to that.
Right.
He alludes to it a lot in the first couple episodes. So it was an interesting choice, interesting dynamic shift.
That might be one of my favorite scenes that I've seen in the show, because it was everybody following their needs, and it was from Sam Whitehead to Hayes and Roland to everybody in the neighborhood. And I just love, it's such good writing, because you set everything up and nobody has to do anything. It's unmotivated. The conflict is built in.
Yeah, the timing, it felt really natural, even though it was escalating, and the dialogue was great. You get that great line of, how do you wear that badge? I guess, well, it's got a
It's got a little clip on it. Oh, so good.
Hayes is very matter of fact. I like that about him.
What I really liked what this episode did, and I know we'll hit all the points as we go through quickly, because I know we're short on time.
Right.
But it's interesting to see how this case has impassioned this town and this community in different ways.
Absolutely.
All across the board, how everything is heightened to the nth degree.
Yes, for better or for worse, man. Everybody's heated. So we're moving on in the 80s. We next pick up, we got Roland rolling up to a shit kicker bar, and he kind of runs through. We don't really know what's going on, and then we find Tom in the back, clearly having been beaten on a little bit. Poor Tom.
Poor Tom. He's
Oh
having
my
a rough
God.
go.
I just want to die. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
I just want to die all the time.
Can't be in his own home.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Was that the bar? Was that his wife's bar? Was that his wife's
That was
boss?
the one that, yeah.
So his wife was screwing the owner of the bar.
Yeah.
And
The
that was
ones who called
Oh.
Roland, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that
insult
too.
to injury. Oh,
Presumably that's why he went over there.
right,
Yeah.
to try and fight everybody.
Yeah.
He says he's a joke.
Yeah.
He's a fool. He's so dejected. Oh, my heart breaks for him
Tom.
a million times over.
And his performance is so spot on. He explores that had to hurt, man. You imagine leaving the filming every day. Tom had to leave just ripped up.
Yeah.
Can't you? I mean, like every day, cameras off.
I mean, where's his relief? He tries to go to work and he is told that he can't be there, that he's dangerous. He's a danger to everyone else.
Right.
He can't go out. He can't go home. He can't do anything. His hands are tied. It's great to see him in the future and how he sort of deals with that. But
He's
in
cleaned
this
up.
moment,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't I feel bad, but also, like, he is a loser. Like, it's not like, oh, people are calling him a loser. Like, he is a loser. Like,
It's such a rough thing, but yes.
sorry. Like,
No, it's rough, but it's
yeah,
true.
to be rough. I mean, because he's an addict, and we see later when he gets his life together that he looks better. He looks much better. So, luckily, we know that is going that way. But yeah, it's rough to see him in this position. I was really surprised at how compassionate Roland was.
That's what I was going to say. We learned something about Roland that is, I mean, we heard about it last week when they were talking about you
Right.
you helped me out, you got me cleaned up. But it's neat to see it all start, to see where it comes from.
And this just makes me wonder more about Roland, like what is his motivation to do that? Because to me it's unclear. I don't buy that it's just, man, this is really sad, I have to help this guy. From what I've seen of Roland, I don't see that as a motivator.
So you're saying
This was the guy who wanted to shoot the fox and,
Right.
the poor defenseless creature.
Ooh, forgot about that.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
So you guys think that Roland has an ulterior motive somehow or another? Just altruism doesn't fly
I
for
mean,
you.
to skip ahead a little bit, like I think there's a reason why I think other than just the fact that Hayes is black, I think there's a reason why Roland got promoted and Hayes didn't. And there's a reason why when the AG comes in and dresses him as major, and they shit all over Hayes.
Right.
There's a reason why it happened that way. And I think, and especially in the way that they are interacting later, I just get a feel about him and the way in 2015 when he talks to his son and his son is like, you really want to talk to him? Like,
Right. Something happened.
there's something there.
There's an event we haven't got to yet,
Yeah,
obviously.
there's something off with him. I just don't trust him.
It is so interesting when with these multiple timelines, because like you were saying about Tom, like we do see him in the future, so the pressure valve is off. So in a weird way, our empathy for him in the 80s
And that's what I
is
mean.
muted.
Yeah.
But there's also more understanding on it too, because you
Yeah.
see that he makes a turn, so you can
Right.
you don't dismiss the case. It's very interesting.
Or you both just have cold, cold hearts. I feel for Tom.
We
okay?
could just have a couple of lumps of coal in our hearts. Let's talk about our first date. Amelia, I don't know if it was our first date, but it seemed like the first good dinner, right? Maybe?
yeah,
With
first
Amelia
fancy
and
date.
Hayes. It was fancy.
Well, I think that, I mean, regardless of which date it was, I think that one is really important because we see Amelia attempt to ask about the case again. And he, initially shoots it down, not wanting to, talk about it. And, I mean, for one, the big red flag to me is, that reminds me of when she hit on the cop guy
Right.
Yep.
later. And so I'm like, how far back does her interest in this case go? Is that why she's with him now? I mean, she was the teacher, so she was connected to it, but it just struck me as weird.
Well, they keep on alluding to the fact that she was a wild child, that she
Right.
has this sordid past, that she doesn't really talk about it. She got into trouble.
I was kind of a mess.
This scene made me not like her very much.
She's
and,
got-
I
yeah,
have some
she's got
notes.
some
I was like,
stuff.
oh, this is her foreplay. She gets off on this sort of thing. And that moment when in the very beginning, when she starts to bring up the case that you just talked about, and she goes, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't bring your office home." I wrote down, "That's rich. That's
Right?
all you want to do is bring the office home. That's what your entire relationship is built upon.
But-
is this one
but-
case?"
But hold on, but the way that he wrote that, right? As soon as it got, okay, she's like, okay, my bad. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then they start talking a little bit more. They go down a little more personal line. And then it gets uncomfortable for a second, and Hayes brings it right back to the case. So, I mean, that might
But
be
that's
their dynamic.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is that's funny you said that because I actually found her really interesting in that scene, especially before the in between where she's like, all right, we won't talk about it when they're flirting. I thought that was great. But when he goes back to the case, he'd rather talk about his job. He'd rather talk about the case than talk about himself.
well,
Now,
I
because
think
that's
he
what's
knows
point.
that it turns
And
her
that's-
on.
Oh, I wonder, okay, well, maybe, that could be. But I think it's
She
more,
was getting suggestive in that
dude,
date.
there was some underlying,
Underlying? I thought it was
but
pretty
they weren't
damn
talking.
blatant.
But they weren't talking about the case at that point. They were talking about themselves.
right,
It
and
brought him out, and it made him more comfortable to talk about it.
But as soon as they got to the point of actually talking about themselves, he shut down.
And brought it
he
back to the
literally
case.
said, I don't. Like, she asked him, do you have a lot of girlfriends? He's like, no, I see women, but it never turns into anything because I can't share myself. So basically what we see is the reason why 10 years later they're having this argument about their relationship and how they don't share with each other and all is because that's what their relationship is built on, is them ignoring the reality of things. And I mean, this case, literally them talking and bonding and ignoring the problems so they can talk about this case.
Well, again, that we look at, I love that split timeline because you really do see the dynamic begin and then you see it in the middle where it's been going on for 10 years. But one thing I thought was really interesting about that scene, is what Hayes said. Basically, he says I have a mental disorder, right? I have a mental dysfunction where I have to. I think, and if I understood it right, he's basically saying I can't screw without a relationship. This is something I need. Isn't that what he was basically saying?
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that the guy is saying that to the girl, like, look, this is how I am. I don't know, you're clearly a wild child from California for a hot minute, but this is where I got to be. Like, I got to be in this spot. But again, brought it back to what he felt comfortable with, and that's what's broken in him, right? Because he's like, I want to share myself with you, but I don't really want to share myself with you. As soon as I get uncomfortable, I get nervous, and then I got to go back to ground that I understand, which is, in this case, the case that we. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, no, I mean that's how I got it too. And that is that he wants someone to be vulnerable with. He wants someone to build a life with and have all these things that he thinks is going to make him happy. But he doesn't really want to talk about why he's not happy. He doesn't really want to talk about the things that he's gone through, the things that he's like literally in the war and stuff like that. Let alone the whole work and case stuff. And it seems like that's how I read it, that he's like scared to show her. And so it's easier then to talk about, in that moment of like, well, shoot, now we're sitting here awkwardly, and I really like this girl.
Right.
And I don't know what to say, and I don't really want to talk about myself. Hey, what does she want to talk about? So anyways, back to the case.
Back to the case. I'm on firm ground.
Which is how we met, which is how we got to this point in the first place.
I'm on firm ground with the case. I can talk about cases all day long. Cases don't have emotions. Cases are cases. But I want emotions. It's the torn up of
Push and
Hayes.
pull there.
Yeah. After dinner, we got Amelia and Lucy. Thrown down a little bit. What an interesting scene.
Amy Groomer, man. She really let it all out. I love her. Always loved her. Comes from good stock, that one.
So phenomenal. All right, Jules, lead us up. What do you think of that scene?
I thought it was so charged emotionally and visually. I mean, everything from Lucy's demeanor, the way she was dressed, what we heard before Amelia enters the room, until she basically kicks her out. The whole roller coaster that we went on was so fascinating, and I was reading so much into it. She dropped down a lot of really cryptic lines, and really what it boiled down to is that she was sobbing that she has done terrible, terrible, terrible things. God forgive her. How could she turn away, or what kind of woman hates the only thing that's ever showed her love, and that she has the soul of a whore.
Soul of a whore.
Woof.
I mean, that is some deep shit to spit out.
She is guilty.
She
did something.
She did something.
She's involved. I don't know how. I don't know what.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like that was coming out.
Something.
She knows something, or she allowed access to her children, or something.
I mean, we can say most of that for predictions, but
sorry, I blurred it out.
She did something.
Wow.
She's guilty.
So you guys don't feel that was just mom who's messed up? No, you think that's related to all this?
She literally says that she hated being a mom. She hated having kids. She hated the home life. The thing that loved her most is she felt nothing for, because she has the soul of a whore. She wanted to go party and do heroin and do crazy stuff. She didn't want to do that. She never wanted it. So to skip ahead, my headcanon is she made some deal with someone who was like, hey, we can give her daughter a great home. She even says the line in the note. She says kids deserve to laugh.
Yes,
there's no laughter here.
Oh,
children
no.
should laugh, right?
Oh, Flippo, you ignorant slut. I didn't pick up on that at all.
There's something there. And
she's
then she got all mad after she got guilty, and then was like, get the F out of my house.
Oh.
She did. That's
I'm with you, man.
shame
I'm with you, Nate.
101 right there.
I'm with you.
That's good producerifying right there. That's solid
Thank you,
producerification. All right, so I didn't pick up on that at all. I'm so busy going, she's just so sad. You're only like, no, she's sad plus.
Oh, you're so cute.
Oh, I know.
You're lucky you're handsome.
Oh, you
But
dumb
I mean,
little man.
in 1990
Jesus.
timeline, we knew that she died in Vegas 2 years before 90, so in 88.
88.
We didn't know what, but now we found out that it's OD, and they said somewhere outside of Vegas.
Yeah,
So
anywhere outside of Vegas is
doesn't
not good.
Does that sound like Bunny Ranch to you?
So sounds like somebody who has guilt of causing a child's death that they could never get over.
I feel like I feel like I saw my parents screw. You guys just ruined everything for me. This is This is deep now, man.
Really quick, one thing I think that we was at the start of the episode that I think we kind of forgot to mention was just the theory that they had been talking about in the car, Wayne and Roland, about that it was always about the girl and that the boy's death was an accident and that they never really wanted him. So this all again,
and that plays in always about the girl.
So I mean, if the plan was just to give the daughter away or something because that's what the new aunt or whatever wanted, this kidnapper person,
right?
And then somehow accidentally Will was killed. I mean, aside from already feeling terrible for being a terrible parent, like that's probably even worse, right? So.
Oh man. Okay, and I'll play along. So if when Lucy was a kid, her mom wasn't around, maybe Dad had some feelings and did some things he wasn't supposed to do, and maybe Lucy is nervous that Tom is going to do something like that.
Maybe. There is something about Tom. I don't know.
Interesting.
I feel like he might be a red herring.
Oh, man. All right, well, this is getting deep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the final thing that happens in the 80s.
Tom!
We love Tom!
We do!
We love Tom and his misery and his pain.
We don't love anyone in True Detective, let's be honest.
I know.
Everyone's
no
a
one
suspect.
is trustworthy.
Until they want us to throw them under the bus. We're supposed to love them. All right, well, let's get into the last biggest thing that goes on in 1980. Woodard and the kids and the Claymore mine and the ambush and what looks like a very big explosion.
I'm a little disappointed that they cut it out. I thought for sure that we were going to get like a shootout with some like explosions or something.
Oh, we did. We know the Claymore went off.
An explosion. It went to black.
Well, look, that's a directional mine. That's an anti-personnel directional mine. So it's a sign that says point this toward enemy. That's not a nice thing to point at anyone.
I'm just saying,
want to be enemy.
I want to see it.
I think we're going to see it.
I hope so.
I think we got the tease.
I just wanted to see it now.
No.
Right now. I thought that whole thing was, again, that's what I say about good writing. I love that. When everybody's just going after their wants and their needs and you set the table right, nothing feels unmotivated. Like, though, it's the second time those guys have found him talking to kids. Number one, you get Woodard, you got to, come on, man. If you're in a small town, stop fucking talking to kids.
Do you think he talked to those girls on purpose, knowing that guy was going to be watching him?
Do you?
And then he just took off running like he knew.
Look, Jules.
I don't know.
No, because then he wouldn't have left the cans. He would have had a plan to take the cans.
So you're saying, no, that's my point, though.
2 cents a piece.
2 cents.
I think it was worth it to blow all those suckers up.
I think if he's out there collecting cans for 2 cents.
I don't know.
You think it was a setup?
Ready. I think he was so ready for this. He talked to those girls knowing that whatever dude's name is, white dude, was watching him. And then he took off running and he was ready for him.
That's an interesting way to see it, because I was seeing it like, okay, he just clearly had decided, like in a weird, like stubborn, I'm not changing my way of doing things for you people.
Yeah.
But in the meantime had kind of set up, well, if something does happen though, I'm good for it.
I don't know. Those girls happened to be in the line side of that guy. I don't know. It could go either way. Either way, someone's getting blowed up.
Blowed up good.
Blowed up good.
Blowed up real good. So you think it was intentional? You think he laid a little bit of a trap?
He's pissed.
He ran fast.
They beat the shit out of him. He knew exactly where to go.
Fast.
He knew the route he was going to take. He beat him there, took off his shoes.
All right, so you think it was a plan, but Nate, you don't think it was a plan.
I don't know about that.
You think it's far-fetched, huh?
I think you might be, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
It's happened before.
I feel like
I had some wacky predictions in the past.
I feel like Woodard's a good guy. I feel like he's just a little weird, and I think he just wants to collect cans to recycle them, and is not going to be like scared of these guys. He grabbed the guns last time. He probably set the booby traps up right away. I don't know. I think it's more of him being shell shocked and being like, you want to fuck with me? I'll kill you, kind of a thing. So, and it's just easier to get away with if it's at your house. So, I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know. Wasn't he watching with like binoculars?
I don't know. Was it? I didn't notice binoculars. Oh no, the guy was looking. You're talking about the redneck dark-beard guy, Chet, redneck dark-beard guy.
The leader of the pack.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Boom, boom.
Of the
I've heard the song.
neighborhood watch.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think on the comments and all that good stuff. If you think if it was a plan, or if you think he was just rolling with it. Before we move on to our next topic, we just want to say thank you guys for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could use your help though. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us. How many stars do we like, Jules? We like.
I think it's 5.
5.
Is it 5?
Nate,
I really
5
like
sound like a good number of
5.
stars?
Yes, 5.
5.
5
sounds
stars.
Five.
We'd like 5.
Johnny 5 is alive.
Johnny 5. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us. We truly appreciate you guys supporting us, doing what we love, getting to enjoy some of this fun with you. And don't forget to tell your friends and keep on enjoying our shows.
Yes.
So, the 90s. Things are exciting in 1990.
90s.
I think the first scene we see in the 90s is the big fight scene with Amelia and Hayes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the first one is, yeah, that's one, yeah. You're right.
What are your impressions on that, Nate? What do you think? Have you been married before?
I have not. Luckily, I've avoided it. I have I've been marriage-free for a while, yeah.
Consistently marriage-free for the entire of his life.
It was interesting. It's an interesting peak, especially after the last, interaction that we saw of them in the 90s of him kind of going out at her. It was interesting to see her be like, well, you still haven't apologized, and bring up all these things which explain. I mean, they all sound it makes sense when you think about what we've seen for the character, but again, it's also nice to get more depth from a character who knows him and has been married to him. For me, it was my parents were married and then got divorced after years of fighting, and I remember being the kid.
You were the kid watching
TV, turning the TV up while your parents are fighting.
Oh, me
upstairs
too, man. I remember that shit.
But yeah, it was just the set design of that show is so weird. It's just so perfectly 90s and like
90s.
And it has to be so that when they switch, you can like tell other than like the haircut.
haircuts, yeah.
But man, they just did a great job. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and it ended in a way that I was not expecting. But I think again that also speaks to their relationship, that they're not dealing with these issues. They like keep bubbling up and becoming a problem, and then they just kind of have sex. And
well,
ignore
it's
it.
just like Amelia in the very first date. If I can't talk about the case, I'm gonna make it sexy talk.
Right.
Just saying. I'm gonna make it sexy. Then that's what I do.
What do? We fall back to where we feel comfortable, confident, and in control.
Now, I don't know how you felt about that scene. We've been married. Well, we're not married, but we both have been married. 2 separate people for a long time.
Many moons.
Many moons. Although you were at my wedding.
I was.
Yeah.
I remember. Santa Barbara. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Yes, it was. Anywho, that fight felt very real to me.
Yes,
Not that I
it
work
did.
crazy gruesome cases by any means. I do watch crazy gruesome cases.
Uh-huh.
But it felt very real when you're fighting with someone who you do love. Really, really love, and you say hurtful things, but you don't want to say the hurtful things, but they come out kind of eloquently because you really feel them, and they have to know.
Yeah, and it's been popping around in your head for a while before it pops out. Yeah. It doesn't usually pop. Fuck you. That's your first year of marriage, but then after a few years in, you do get good at finding like you can the things.
Yeah, and they're truthful things. They're not petty things. They're real life things.
Well, no, but what good is the fight if it wasn't real stuff? I mean, then in that case, it's just a bicker, and who cares? This was a good fight, and I agree with you that when as soon as she gets uncomfortable, feels out of control, you know what? Let's just drawers come down. Let's just screw. That was wild to me. That is not how we do things in my house. I'll show my wife. Maybe it's a great idea. I don't know.
Maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, it's not a bad look. They figured out how to talk afterwards.
We'll try that next time.
I
will say it's the first time I feel like we really saw Hayes have strong emotions.
Yeah, and that's
not just in his eyes, not subtly, just entire full body, full face, full head emotions.
And they bounced, and here's what I think was so. We talked about this last week a little bit. He's feeling that inadequacy and that uselessness, right? He's not making as much money as he wants to make. He's not in the unit he wants to be in. He's been sidelined. All that has been grating on him, and he's complaining about that to her. And she says, "You're a grown man with no agency of his own."
Ooh.
That's an amazing line.
Does that hurt?
Like life is just happening to you. You're not in charge. It just is falling on your head. I thought that was brilliant. And like you said though, as soon as she's out of hand, as soon as she's uncomfortable, she wants to go to sex. He wants to go to a case. She wants to go to sex. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, and that can last a whole marriage. It turns out.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
If it ain't broke.
Right? And I did love the kids, though, man. That's like you were saying, Nate. That's how I grew up too. Same thing. Oh, mom and dad are at it again. Although we never heard the.
Yeah.
I believe it said rhythmic banging on the closed captioning.
I missed that.
Rhythmic banging.
That's so good. All right.
Band name.
Now that next scene though is interesting because I believe we have Attorney General Kent and a major, and I do not remember the major's name, but he had a lot of tassels and cords and shiny things on his shirt, which seemed very impressive. They sit down with Roland and with Hayes, and they're going over the purpose of this new inquiry, and that was a pretty. That was pretty flat, right across the right across the middle delivery there, wasn't it?
Pretty straight to the point.
Yeah, we're doing this because you're going to prove that everything that happened 10 years ago is correct, and that's it. That's the whole reason we're doing
Let's
this.
uphold his conviction.
Yep. And if you guys do a good job, I can see a spot for you, Hayes, over there at Major Crimes again, and if not, probably going to get worse.
This is just another hint at corruption, obviously, that's larger at play, especially because the last time we saw Kent was in the 1980s timeline when he was just the head prosecutor. And even later in the 1980s timeline, we see him on TV talking about the case, using it as a publicity thing because we know that he is going to be running for Attorney General. So, yeah, another great line.
People seem to be using this case to their own devices to further their careers, their sexuality, their relationships. Across the board, I feel like people are using it as a device to get from point A to point B.
Everybody uses everybody. Is that Staying Alive, or so was Saturday Night Fever? What is it? I don't remember.
That is Staying Alive. That's my favorite movie.
Everybody uses everybody. Oh, she's fantastic. I
watched it the other night.
It's so good.
I watched it a million times.
Oh, look at us go off the rails. Okay, so A.G. Kent and the Major make very clear to Roland and Hayes that this is all about proving the 1980s is legit. That everything we did in '80 was right. And then they leave.
Also, I mean, as we see by the Donahue performance, it's about ensuring his legacy,
of course,
intact too, which is why he gets so crass and so direct,
so blunt.
Hayes.
Yeah. Because right. If you say this wasn't true, then I've been Attorney General based on a lie and a bad case
and a bad conviction,
which
was his case because he's the prosecutor.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that would have. So the implication is that there is a cover-up, which means that they did something, whether that's just they pinned it on the wrong person and they tampered with evidence or something to make that.
And we don't know if that's the
case or something.
If that's the kid with the purple bug, if it's purple bug kid, or if it's Woodard that wound up going up for it. We're still unclear, right?
Or someone else.
Or somebody else.
We don't know.
Or somebody completely different.
It could be Patty.
Sam Whitehead.
Yep.
Could be Sam.
They go back.
And it could be what's her name, Patty Faber, who's a dear good,
the dear good woman.
Just you never know.
Should make the dolls.
She did shit. She's sitting there in jail making dolls. Who knows? Well, in the 8 weeks, we have some more task force stuff in the 80s, and we kind of have a moment where Hayes asserts himself as a part of this and reminds Roland, and this is interesting, right? It's that power dynamic, how power shifts. Like in the 80s, they were Hayes was the lead detective, and Roland was his partner, and now Roland's heading up the task force. Hayes is just added on because Roland begged for him to be there. And at that first, I don't call it a squad meeting or a task force briefing, whatever you want to call it. Hayes is kind of trying to assert a little bit, like hey, and it's an interesting spot he puts Roland in, right? He's kind of coming up and trying to make sure that everyone knows who he is and what his agenda is, and then Roland's got to kind of navigate that, right? I want these guys to respect you, and I want them to look to you, but at the same time, it's my task force.
But it doesn't seem that Roland can do it without Hayes. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed to bring him back. It seems like they need to go through this together. But yes, he is in the more powerful position. So you're right. It is a new navigation.
I do enjoy power dynamics. I love them when they shift. You're like, oh, that's so interesting. Well, then we cut through to that footage at Walgreens, right? We've got Hayes basically going through 7 days of footage, right?
Very slowly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if there's any.
Tediously, if you will.
We own a commercial building and we have cameras all around, and we've had some things happen occasionally, and it is I had no idea because you see it in the movies and you just like it usually cut a couple times, and the guy's having coffee and then later on he's clearly having more coffee and then we figured it out. Looking through that shit will make you nuts. Have you ever had to do it?
Yeah.
No, have you?
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying. It's horrid. I have so much more respect for these moments because somebody tagged up though at one point on the building and I was trying to figure out if we had a good shot of him and we did, but it took forever. And we knew it was like a 2-hour window that he could have done it.
But it's still long. 2 hours is a long time.
Oh, and he's doing 7 days. It takes dedication, man.
And he doesn't even really know
what she looks like. Yeah, you're just going off maybe a feeling?
Or a
Girl
10-year-old
around
photo.
the same age.
So how old would she be at that point? 14?
22, 21?
What, was she 11 when she got kidnapped?
10, I think. They were 10
I
and
think
12,
she
right?
was 12, yeah.
Oh,
so
was
I
she?
think it's 22.
Okay.
I thought I wrote it down.
I thought
but
she was
I did,
10
in
and
fact,
he was
not write it down.
12.
I may have it wrong. I've been wrong before. It's happened.
No.
I know it.
She's in her early 20s.
So she would be in her early 20s.
Yes.
Yes, in the Walgreens. We're all at the corner of Healthy and Happy on aisle 7 or 5. So that's pretty much what we see of the 90s. And then we cut up to 2015. And again, I've said this before, 2015 Hayes is my favorite Hayes.
I love 2015 Hayes.
He's got some stuff. So we start off with the scene in the police station where we learn that Henry is the new Detective Hayes.
Yep.
Little chip
like
off
it.
the old block.
I like it.
Cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
I hate his mustache.
I kind of do too.
Yeah,
It's just
not my fave.
too perfectly circular.
There's a lot-
it's
lot
like
of
a
grooming.
perfect half circle.
Yeah.
It's just like too much.
Too clean.
Too much.
And they shoot him weird too. They got to
Yeah.
shoot him down. They shoot up his
Yeah.
nose. It's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Like, we know he's big. Don't shoot up his nose. That seems mean. What'd you guys think of that scene? I loved, again, we were talking about power dynamics. I love watching them shift. And we're dealing with this in my family. My dad's 89 and he just retired and he's kind of trying to figure out retirement. And it's interesting because the power shift is a real thing. And now you're trying to talk to your dad in a way and you guys are dealing with it in a whole other way.
Yeah.
Goodness. I get a kick out of it. I think Nick Pizzolatto did that just right. I feel like that dynamic, the gentleness, and the I'm going to do it for you. But come on, you can't be just rolling in. Come on, Dad. What? Come on. And Dad's playing it out right too.
And I understand the frustration that Henry has been feeling, although I think it goes deeper than just his dementia or Alzheimer's. But when you are dealing with someone who is a family member who is going through that sort of mental decline,
Yes.
it's a difficult position to be in. You're part parent, you're part child, you're part placating, you're part supporting, and it's impossible and it's tiring. I could speak from experience.
Yes, you can.
It's enough of that.
Right. What'd you think, Nate? You like that dynamic?
Yeah, I kind of had some suspicions that he was a police officer just based off the first 2 episodes. There's also a scene where we see him, getting in his car, and his car has like one of the police lights on it, so that was kind of a big giveaway.
I totally missed that. I was like, oh, he's a cop. Great. Oh, he's a detective. No idea. Look at you.
It was
Idiots.
interesting though to see, I kind of am getting annoyed though at them. Like every time somebody asks old Hayes, like, "You're not investigating the case again, are you?"
Yeah, it's a
He's
lot
like,
of
"No,
that.
I'm not. By the way, here I am investigating
Right.
the case." Like, come on. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how this is playing out with him asking about the names. I feel like he's going to find Roland, and then that's going to be interesting. His reaction to him asking to find Roland, it's like, "Oh, you want to find that guy?" says a lot about
something,
Roland,
whatever
I
went
think.
down.
So I don't know. I feel like it's still too early to tell. I'm really curious about his relationship with the director lady because there definitely seems to be something going on there. And he's married.
Who, Henry?
Yep.
Yeah, he got a ring on that
Yes.
finger. That was
Sure is.
prominent.
Yeah, we saw his wife.
We did? Did
Sure
we?
did.
Yeah.
And kids.
And kids.
And kids.
And
we also saw her hotel room with 2 glasses of wine.
Dose
And I
face
think
Hayes.
that people are underestimating Hayes, and he probably wants it that way. Yes, he is losing time and popping up in new spots all the time.
Right.
But he also sees a lot because people discount how much he sees.
Yes.
He still is who he is inherently, and he's a tracker, and he is ever observant. So he knows when he saw those two glasses of wine, and then he asked Henry if he had seen Eliza lately.
Yeah.
Asked Eliza, maybe you shouldn't tell Henry about this.
You know,
if,
Henry.
You know, if you you know my son. Do you know that? Do you
Big
remember?
guy, circular mustache, almost perfect. They shoot up his nose
Hard
a lot.
to miss.
Yeah. I think you're 100% right. I would bet $200 that Henry was in that closet breathing real quiet when Dad came through in the old hotel room, which is where we're at now. So you liked? What did you think of that hotel room at scene? What do you think of Eliza? What is your thought on? I don't quite. I thought. I mean, my prediction a couple weeks ago was that she was actually Julie. I don't know that that's timeline doesn't kind of.
It was nice for a minute. To
I know.
think about
I
it,
know.
though.
I thought, that the kids were younger. But what are your thoughts on Eliza? What do you feel about? I don't trust her. Something's off.
Yeah. I don't know.
She has a lot of information about the case.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's interesting that she wants to, that they're going to do this kind of quid pro quo, that she knows so much, but she still needs to get so much information from
Yes.
the case.
Is it kind of reminiscent, that relationship that Henry and Eliza might have, that that Hayes and Amelia had with this common ground of this case
There's a
that
parallel
sort
there,
of
for
is
sure.
sort of foreplay? This case brings out the sexiness for some reason
Boy,
in everybody.
These
I hope
Purcell
not.
kids just bringing folks together. You know, nothing like a good kidnapping / murder to make everybody warm and fuzzy. So that's interesting. Yeah, history doth repeat itself. I don't know. The 2 glasses of wine. I think we all agree on that. And we find out from her about Dan O'Brien, who the cousin, who with the peephole cousin, Peephole Dan.
Uncle.
People dead.
Peephole Dan. So Peephole Dan is in a quarry, right?
Yeah,
An
in a
abandoned
drain quarry.
All right. And and then of course we've got the hallucination scene, which was crazy, and we don't have much time to delve into it, but. Real quick, first off, thoughts on the hallucination scene, and then, am I the only one that saw a dude in a suit? There was a dude in a suit that
dude
was
in a
not
suit.
wearing. He was not dressed as Viet Cong.
Yeah.
He was not. His head was decidedly down.
I saw that as it was ghosts of people that he's
That's
killed.
what I'm saying,
was
yeah.
the implication, and then to see that there's somebody that he didn't kill during the war. It didn't resemble anybody that we've seen, I think, unless I missed it.
Right.
I don't know. I need to watch it again.
So we can all
Yeah, I
assume
wanna watch that again.
that he killed those Viet Cong guys or people he killed, and then who's the dude in the suit?
He also seems strangely comfortable with them
Yes.
being there too.
Like, he's been talking
he
to
was
them
like
a minute.
right, addressing them and like
Yeah.
kind of like touching them and like
Shut
pushing
up.
them
Shut
away.
up, you're
And he touches
nothing.
that guy too.
Yes.
So I
And
don't
for
know.
a second, like in a meaningful, Hayes way.
That scene gave me some goosebumps. And I'm glad that we've addressed the Vietnam part of him a little bit more. And I understand that his timelines are fluid, of course, but for someone who his life is forever changed by this case, when you think someone's life would be forever changed and haunted by
Right.
Nam, but this is haunting him more. I cannot wait to see how deep and dark this sucker goes.
All right, well, let's get into it. It's time for AfterBuzz TV predictions.
And now,
Oh, I just
your
did that.
AfterBuzz TV.
Nate, what do you got for us?
I think the mom's involved. I think they're gonna do something in order to secure this false conviction that happens in the 80s. I think it's gonna mess him up, Hayes up.
Right.
And I'm also really curious about what happens in the 90s because Hayes specifically says that what happens in the 90s haunts him more.
Yes.
So I don't know. And in the teaser, it looks like Amelia is there with Julie?
I don't know.
I don't know. I need to watch that again.
All right.
I don't know.
Watch it pretty
It's getting
quickly.
weird.
Julie Kearley, what do you got? What's your predictions?
I mean, I agree with you. I do think the mom is involved. I think it has to do with the Hoyt Foods Company and the
Yes.
big head honcho who is off on safari. But I think there's a larger, more powerful ring at large who is in custody of Julie.
Interesting. I'm going to say, I think I said it earlier, that clearly Eliza and Henry, not clearly, but I think Eliza and Henry are rhythmically banging as Dad and Amelia were, and I think we'll get into that later on. And that's all I've got. Nate, where can the young people find you?
Guys, you can find me everywhere that you can find people. At Dog Like Nate, that's dog with 2 G's.
Julia
I
Cearley.
found you. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram with my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley.
And you can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo, and my website is josephsanfilippo.com. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.